Glad to see you in the house today. The sun's coming out. There it is. Some of you today in the house with you. Today I'm going to a sermon message. I got 7 sermons. I do this in one. Start a new sermon series next week on discipleship. But today I'm talking to you about pain in our life. And the reason I want to talk about it is most people don't know how to deal with pain and trauma in their life. Virtually everybody in this room, is what we would term born again. You know the Lord. But most people in this room also do not know how to deal with pain, disappointment, and trauma in life. And so we all go through trauma. Usually it happens in our growing up years. That's why William Wordsworth said that the father is the child of the man. So now all of that goes on. So let's just get into it. Now we're talking. Look at this. One verse from about 6 weeks ago when it applies. John 20, verse 26 and 27. After 8 days, his disciples were again inside, and Thomas with them. Jesus came. The doors hadn't been shut, and stood in the midst, saying, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Reach here with your finger and see my hands, and reach here with your hand and put it into my side. And do not be unbelieving, but believe." The reason 6 weeks ago I brought this verse to our attention was it really caught me. This is Jesus after the resurrection. And what caught me with this portion of Scripture is that, of course, Jesus is God. He's been crucified. This nail, his hands have been pierced. His side has been pierced. And you would think that God, being resurrected, could pick a body out that didn't have any scars. Right? It's a resurrected body. So why would Jesus have scars? That's him calling. Why would Jesus, who has a resurrected body, have scars on his body? And I thought about that. Maybe I thought too much of it. Then I thought, no, I'll tell you what they are. They're scars. They're scars. They're beautiful scars. To me, it's a picture of, we all will get scars in our life. All of us do. Some of these scars we get healed in life, and they become beautiful. According to 2 Corinthians chapter 1, we use these scars in our life to be able to help other people. But then a lot of us have trauma, scars, bad events happen to us, and there's scars in our life that happen during our whole life, but they never get healed. So we become messed up, and being messed up, we also mess up everybody around us. So all of us have scars. Just say amen. We do. How do I define a scar? A scar is a place in our life where pain has left a permanent mark in our memories. I'm not talking about physical scars. You get a physical scar, and it's still there. I'm talking about emotional and mental scars. It could have happened throughout our life. An event happens, it changes the way we view ourselves, it changes the way we view God, it changes the way we view other people. And we grow to the level of our scars. We never grow past our scars. That's why I'm saying there are people here, you got hurt when you were growing up, and now you're like maybe 58, and you're still scarred by that, and that scar still defines you. You should have grown past that scar. You haven't. Because you haven't, it's messed up everybody around you. What do you mean? I've heard me say this. Bob was never the same after the accident. Well, what happened to Bob? Bob was my imaginary guy that I go talk to when I do counseling. Bob was never the same after the accident. What happened to Bob? Bob was never the same after the death of his wife. Bob was never the same after the word started to him by his father. Bob was never the same after he was, a lot of money was taken from his bank account in some kind of scheme. Bob was never the same after he lost his job. Well, Bob, when did that happen? Bob, that happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But that scar hit Bob's life, and Bob's never been the same since then. We all know a person named Bob. Maybe you're Bob, but there's a scar in your life that hasn't been healed. Are you born again? Yes. But is that area of your life healed? No. The question should be, why? That's the question. Like I said, I've got a 7-sermon series I haven't read yet, so I'm condensing 7 sermons into one today. That's when we transition right here. Let's get to talking. Let's think we will. Let's do it. That's right. Opening thoughts about hurts or traumas. Number 1, this is mind-boggling. Life is rough. Duh. How long did it take you to think that of, Charles? Well, not very long. But life is tough. There are some people who think that, however, life ought to be smooth. Why is it? No, life is not smooth. It's all because of the curse of sin, Genesis 3. Because of that, man, it all messed up the way things are supposed to be. So everyone in this room this morning, everyone can raise their hand and say, I got scars in my life. Amen? If you can't say amen with him, you're a liar. You're the biggest liar in Randolph County. Period. Number 2, we need to learn how to deal with our scars spiritually. Very few of us know how to deal with scars. And we don't. Most of us, myself included, never had parents who knew how to deal with rejection, who knew how to deal with disappointment, who knew how to deal with hard times. What we do, we blame other people. And we say stuff like this: I don't deserve this. Life is not fair. They did me wrong. That was wrong. The church mistreated me. They mistreated me. But do you notice something in this? We got the Adam and Eve syndrome. We're blaming somebody else for our situation in life, when in essence it's our problem. But it's in human tendency, we want to blame others. It's not my fault I have an F. I'm not a sorry teacher. It's not my fault. We won't want to blame. And so we don't know how to deal with scars in a spiritual way. And the sad thing about it, we have parents who are now parenting kids, who are now parenting grandkids, and they've got scars in their life, and they don't know how to give their kids wisdom. All they can say is this: you don't deserve that. They didn't treat you right. Is that all you can tell your kids and your grandkids? Is that all you got? You don't deserve it? Do you have any more wisdom for me? Life's not fair. Is that all you got? The reason we can't give anything else on this topic is because we ourselves don't know anything either. We've lived 40 years in church. We went to church every Sunday, did the Bible studies, did everything, and we don't understand how to get healed through scars. Now, how easy this morning? Number 3, time heals nothing. Oh, it don't. We have this saying, time heals all wounds. No, it does not. You know what time does? Time gives you crow's feet. That's what time does. Time gives you a fat belly. Time gives you a hanging down part. Y'all got them hanging down parts? Don't worry, you will. It's called age. Age. See, the curse of sin is something else. Exercise all you want. Eat all the good food you like to. You need to do that. But your body will still go in regression. Right? Yeah! Bring an old person there, and I'll show you. He got me. Well, I love that, bro. We will come back in the sermon and we will address this. Now, listen, I wouldn't do it. I got scarred. Well, that's good, though. You need to get through preaching. That's real good. I'm really taken back by that. That's awesome. Man, that's awesome. You got to give credit where credit's due. Amen. me get out of this point. Your body will get bruised. All right? I did something. Why did I do something stupid? Fire ants. They're the devil. 15 years ago, I made a video. I still got it where I put my hand in fire ant. Crazy. I know it. But I thought, them things can't be that bad. So I had my son video. I should have brought it in. And I put my hand, I got him all mad, and I said, damn! And I raised my hand, and my arm was covered. I was everywhere. I thought, wow! And I got, and in the video, I'm yelling. I'm about to get about 30 times. Hardly noticed. I'm itching, but not much. I was putting flowers up this week in the front. And these ants, these are new ants. They had their anthill in the dirt where you couldn't see. I go, and before I knew it, I just got it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Within 24 hours, my whole hand was like a club. I finally had to go to emergency care. And I said, Doc, I did this 15 years ago, and it didn't decent money. Here's how the body does. The body knows that poison now. It's not as quick to react to it as it did the first time. So just know this. Your body's reacting whole. I said, give me some medicine in the name of Jesus. That's what I said. And set me free. I'm just saying, your body can heal. You get a bruise, and this thing is a whole lot better today. But when you get scarred, when you get bruises from emotions, they'll heal. Now the pain may go away, but the only one that can heal the emotion and pain in your life is God. And we've all been through emotional pain, and He's the only one that can heal that stuff. Point forward. As hurt and pain builds in your life, it affects every part of your life. You've heard this phrase, messed up people mess up people. Hurt people hurt people. So you get this hurt in your life, you get this pain in your life, and you grow up and you have kids. If that pain doesn't get healed, if that hurt doesn't get taken care of, you're going to hurt your kids. You're going to hurt your grandkids. You're going to pass that stuff on. You don't need to. I don't know. But it's there. All because you haven't addressed this pain in your life. Our greatest need in life is love. Everyone in this room wants to be loved. Everyone does. We want someone to care about us. Someone to love us for us. Someone to love us, as my cousin Jenny used to say, warts and all. You know my bad parts. You know how bad I am. But in spite of my bad, you still love me. That's what we want. And everyone wants that. That's the greatest need in this room. I want to be loved. And since love is our greatest need in life, you know what our greatest fear is? Rejection. We don't want to be rejected. Because we're afraid that if we put our love towards somebody, they'll reject us. And when we get rejected, it's a scar. And we don't know how to deal with it. And since we have this scar, we then become distrustful of people. Psychologists call it paranoia. So can I tell you why? The church is a place where you're supposed to come together on Sunday morning. And you know we're supposed to do at church. One of the things we're supposed to do at church on Sunday morning that we don't do, that nobody wants to do, you know what it is? I need to tell you my problems. Nobody wants to do that. And everybody from Sunday morning says, how you doing? I'm fine. The biggest lies happen on Sunday morning. Everybody lies on Sunday morning. Because you know what? In this room, everybody's not fine. But they walk in Sunday after Sunday, week after week, with scars. And they walk out and they never get healed. And do you know why they don't get healed? Because they don't want to be rejected. so you lose scars. I call it a sun. The devil burns, what I call it. Somebody has a, I told you this, if somebody has a sunburn, a real bad sunburn, Abe gets a sunburn, I'll walk up to him and say, "What's up, Dave?" So I tell you what's up. The sunburn's up. And for the rest of the day, if you walk up on Wayne, 122nd Road, watch that back. I had an idiot in church just hit my back. We'll get that back. And so most of us have had scars in our life. And so for the rest of our life, we say this: well, stay away. And so then what happens with this? We get scars in our life. Then we begin to do this. God created you in the image of God. There's nobody like you. Nobody will ever be like you. Nobody never was like you. You're a special, unique person. Only person ever created like you. But since you've been rejected, you think this: they must not like me. And so that's when you invent yourself to be somebody else. And so that's where we get this addiction problem. I become addicted to things. And so since they don't like who I really am, I got to become somebody else. And most people live their lives not being who they really are, but trying to be someone else so they can be loved and appreciated. And that's why they're so unhappy in life. And then they get this idea: since I don't love myself, and I haven't accepted me as me, maybe I can find someone who will love me. And so I find this boyfriend, and he'll love me. This girlfriend, this guy, someone love me. But here's the whole thing: you don't even love yourself. And you expect someone else to love you when you don't love yourself. And so you get in this relationship, and you don't love yourself, and you're thinking, they love me. And then you realize, but I'm not happy. And do you know why you're not happy? Because you don't love you. You've been rejected. You've had a trauma. You've got scars. They're not beautiful, though. So you got this guys in front of people, and you look happy, you put the smile on, and you're ready to this, but man, down deep, when you're all alone, you know how miserable you are, you know how unhappy you are, and you go to church on Sunday morning, and you smile, and you have the friendships going on, but down deep, you don't love you. Do you know why? You never dealt with the scars in your life. Do you know why? You don't know how to. Charles Moses, that could be some of the best preaching you've ever done in your whole life. That's what braces do for you. Now let's keep going with this. Y'all with this so far? So what are the causes of rejection? How do we get rejected? I mean, I could give you 2 pages of the list. I've got just a few things. Here we go. Just listen. I'm going to go in detail on every one of them. Being unwanted as a child. That's a problem. Not being accepted or loved by people around you. Being gossiped about. We haven't been gossiped about. Being lied about. Emotional, physical, sexual abuse causes scars. Words cause scars. You'll never amount to nothing. We should never be born. You can't do anything right. Why can't you be more like your sister? You're so slow. You're so dumb. Words. But words have power. Life and death in this tongue. Scars. Being laughed at. I can remember my first scar vividly. I told you. Can you remember my last name? Remember my scar? What's your last name? First grade Moses. M-O-S-E-S-S-E-S-S-S-E. How do I end this name? I do not know. My dear teacher, Mrs. Hart. Charles, class took the Charles. I don't remember the last name. Everybody laughed. I remember in first grade, felt first grade, they laid it down. I got scarred. They must not love me for me. So I had to become somebody else. How do you know this though, Charles? Because the 2 Corinthians chapter 1, the crap I've been through, I've run from, like if you ever run from it, you can get healed if it can help you. See, most people don't learn from their scars. They just say this, I don't deserve that. Why me? Life's not fair. That's why I say, is that all you got? You mean you went through the toughest, hellish time of your life, and all you can tell me is you don't deserve that? Is that all you got? Is that all you're telling your kids? Where's some wisdom? Y'all are looking at me odd. Y'all with me this morning? Not communicating. I'm the old man up front. Racism, being rejected by a boyfriend, girlfriend. Some of y'all got rejected by that first boyfriend, girlfriend, you never got over it. A death, a suicide, a divorce, not being chosen for a sports team. I mean, that's a lot, okay? I'm just trying to tell you, in life, you're going to be rejected. Got it? But we don't have any wisdom as parents on how to teach our kids how to deal with rejection. And guess what? Why don't we have a class on how to deal with rejection? Why can't anybody teach that class? Because we don't know how to deal with it. You know what we do? We blame. We're Adam and Eve. It's not me, it's the snake. It was the woman. It's the teacher's fault. It's the coach's fault. It's the preacher's fault. It's the church's fault. It's my boss's fault. Well, you know what? If you're blaming people your whole life, do you know what you're not doing? You're not taking personal responsibility for your life. And so guess who you're teaching that to? Your kids. Your grandkids. Well, in the next few minutes, I'm going to try to cheer you up. We'll talk to you about David, Solomon, and Absalom, that's David's boys, and how they did with pain in the wrong way. David did a lot of good things well, right? Ever heard of Goliath? Yeah. But he didn't know how to deal with pain well. Because he didn't deal with pain well, his sons didn't deal with pain well. And David had a messed up family because David was messed up. And every great man and woman of God has to rise above the pain in their life to reach the God-given potential. So you do it by three ways. So number one, let's take a look at David very quickly. David had pain in his life, and he would bury his pain, or I would say he would medicate his pain. Here's the backdrop of the story. You'll be with me. 1 Samuel 16. What was David's pain? Just remember this about David. Samuel the prophet was told by God, go to Jesse's house. That's the father of David. And go to Jesse's house and anoint a king from your children. Jesse has 8 kids. Of course, David's one of the kids. God was not pleased with Saul, so he picked a new king out. So Jesse got his 7 sons out. Probably, how many sons does he have? 8. He got his 7 sons, but he didn't bring David. We pick the story up. 1 Samuel 16, verse 10. There we go. Thus Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. But Samuel said to Jesse, the Lord has not chosen any of these. And Samuel said to Jesse, are these all your children? I thought you had 8 sons. I just see 7. And look what Jesse said. And he said, there remains yet the youngest. I got him as a sheep. Basically he's saying, it can't be David. David can't be the king. In fact, how I know David's not the king, I got him with a bunch of sheep. I got 7 of the sons. A whole lot better than him. It can't be David. I don't know if you see it right here, but David was rejected by his father right there. It can't be David. So he says, send and bring him, for we will set until he comes. Verse 12. So he sent and brought him in. Now he was ready. Don't you love that word, ready? Ready. He was ready. Ready. I think a cartoon character. Ready. With beautiful eyes and a handsome appearance. The Lord said, arise and anoint him, for this is he. What's the background, Moses? David was the only son that was not brought before Samuel. We know that his father didn't believe in him. So David had a messed up family because he came from a messed up family. Charles, can you give me some light on this? I'll try my best to. As we have children, mom and dad, grandparents, it's the job of the parents to teach their kids these important qualities in life. We're to teach our kids how to deal with life. We're supposed to teach our kids how to deal with conflict in the right way. We're supposed to teach our kids how to take responsibility. We're supposed to teach our kids how to deal with difficult people and to show them how to do it. We're supposed to teach our kids how important attitude is. We're supposed to teach our kids how to deal with pain and disappointment in life. We're supposed to teach our kids how to love one another and how to love their enemies. We're supposed to teach our kids how to say these words, I am sorry. And yet, we don't do any of the things I just said. Because when we come across something we don't like, our attitude is this. I don't deserve this. This is not right. They did me wrong. Life's not fair. And guess who's watching as you're going this mindset? You got kids you're raising up in the fear of God, supposedly. You're trying your best to, but you don't teach your kids how to deal with the basics of life. You see, David's family, it becomes very clear, David didn't learn anything at home. Oh, he knew how to be a warrior, but he didn't know how to deal with people. And when you look at David's children, you'll see in a minute, they're all messed up. Well, guess what? They're messed up. David was messed up. And who else was messed up? His dad was messed up. So David, he knew how to be a warrior. He didn't know how to be a father. Every close male authority in David's life rejected him. His father rejected him. You can't want David. No, I got 7 other sons. He's a whole lot better than David. In fact, I don't think so much of David. I got him picked up sheep dookie. Anybody can pick that stuff up. So you don't want David as king. So his dad rejected him. Then his oldest brother, Eliab, this is the oldest of the 8. They're fighting Goliath. David comes out there, and his oldest brother says, hey, squirt, hey, idiot, hey, dummy, what are you doing out here? You're trying to see a big party? Get your butt out of here. Even his oldest brother rejected him. And then the other guy in his life, Saul, who was the king, David became the king, and Saul, the quote man of God, he rejected David. He tried to kill him. And so every man in David's life basically showed him how to do everything wrong. And so David didn't know how to father. David didn't know how to learn from life. David didn't know how to understand people. And so David didn't know how to do this. So whose fault is this? Is it his father's? Whose fault is it? I mean, he didn't have a good role model. He didn't have a good family. So David failed in everything when it comes to raising a family. Whose fault is it? Good question, Charles. Thank you. We live in a society where we would say, it's his daddy's fault. It's Saul's fault. It's Eliab's fault. No. It's David's fault. It's David's fault. You see, when you blame everybody else, you'll never get set free. And that's why when it comes to counseling, until you own your junk, you'll never be free. You can't blame anybody for your junk. You can't blame anybody for your attitude. That's your attitude. You're now an adult. And what you do as an adult is your baby. And the main reason that David was a poor father is because it was David's fault. And David was a poor father because he would not deal with his pain. He had pain in his life. He had scars. Life principle. Every great man and woman of God has to rise above the pain of their past to reach their God-given potential. Every last one of us have pain, right? You got to learn from it and rise above it. Are you with me? All right, David was a poor father because he wouldn't face his pain. So David never told anybody about his pain. He never went to anybody and said, man, I'm having a hard time. He said quietly by, and as he said by, you'll see in a minute, his whole family fell to pieces. Listen carefully. People say this about people. Well, they're the strong, silent type. You know this kind of people. They just sit. Maybe somebody in your family. And there's all hell breaking loose in your family. They got stuff in their past. But they just sit there. They don't say much. They're to themselves. They don't bother anybody. They're the strong, silent type. No, they're not. They're weak. They're weak. You see, strong people, they talk about their problems. Strong people go get help. Strong people ask for advice. It's the weak people who sit back and say, oh, I'm all right. There's nothing wrong with me. I got to figure it out. And the whole time you're sitting trying to figure it out, your family is screwed up so bad, everybody sees it, you see it, but you don't want to face it because you're the strong silent type. You're going to fall to pieces. Oh, you can send them to church camps, and you can send them through the youth group, and they can grow up. But you know what? They're messed up! They didn't stay in church for 50 years of their life. They're messed up! But do you know why? They never faced their pain. Strong people talk. Strong people open up. Strong people get help. Weak people sit and hurt and never get help, and everybody around them gets hurt. And listen again, everyone in this room has experienced pain.
Amen.
Everyone. Some of us have learned from it. Some of us have, just like David, we buried it. And we medicate it. What do you mean by medicate? That's point. You know, when it comes to addictions again, you know, there's the alcohol, there's the drug addiction. Well, see, when you have pain in your life, you addict it, you medicate it. And for some of us, it may not be drugs, it may not be alcohol, but for some of us, it may be, well, I got to go shopping. Or it could be, when I get real depressed, eat. That's how I medicate my pain. And so the pain's there. And as long as you're medicating that pain, as long as you're shopping, as long as you're being wiped on whatever social media part there is, whenever you're doing the food, whenever you're doing the drugs, whenever you're doing the alcohol, that's why psychologists say, alcohol's not the problem. Drugs are not the problem. There's the issue behind the drugs, the issue behind the alcohol, the issue behind the food, the issue behind the spending. There's a problem behind the habit. Well, what's the problem? It's the pain in your life. But see, you want to cover that pain up, you want to medicate it. You don't want to face it. And so you'll go do the stuff, and you'll go do the stuff that you do. And for a time, you feel better, but guess what? The medication goes away, and the pain's still there. Why is it still there? Because you don't want to face it. Yeah. Somebody find something I like. David, he buried his pain. He medicated his pain. He had a son named Solomon. Ever heard of him? Well, see how he did. Solomon had pain in his life. What was Solomon's pain? Get this. He's the son of David and Bathsheba. That's a problem. Right? He come out of adultery. That's a problem. And on top of that, he's the son of a scandal. When everybody saw Solomon, they said, hey, that's the son of David and Bathsheba. Remember David on the wall? Remember David and Bathsheba? Remember David had her husband killed? That's the son. His father killed his mother's former husband. He killed his own brother to become king. Solomon did. And then he watched his brother Absalom try to kill his father. So Solomon had pain in his life. So how did Solomon cover his pain? Did Solomon ever face his pain? No. What did he do? See, this is me. This is me. I'm not the first time. I won't meditate it. I will motivate it. This guy became a workaholic. And there are a lot of people when you have pain in your life to get a release, all you do is you work. You work hard. Most people with this kind of problem right here, they become very successful. And here's the whole thing. You can be successful in the eye of the public, but in private, you're living a living hell. Because you're not happy with you. And you'll be busy and you'll say, look at me, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And you got to get your personal satisfaction from what you're doing. Do you see how messed up that is? You're messed up. And then you put that pressure on your kids. And they're messed up. And who's doing it? Mom, you're doing it. Dad, you're doing it. Don't you haven't faced your pain. You become a workaholic. We got to look in the eyes of the community. We got to go hard. We got to work. Well, what about your pain? I'm too busy. Did Solomon do this? Oh, did he ever? Look at Ecclesiastes 10, verse 9. Then I became a great and I increased more than all who preceded me in Jerusalem. My wisdom also stood by me. All that my eyes desired, I did not refuse them. I did not withhold my heart from any pleasure, for my heart was pleased because of all my labor. Whoa! And my reward was all my labor. I worked. Thus I considered all my activities, which my hands had done, and the labor which I had exerted. And at the end of my life, guess what I said it was? Look at it. It's junk. It's vanity. It's chasing after the wind. It doesn't mean a thing. Do you know why it doesn't mean a thing? You never faced your pain. It's not until you go to deathbed you see all of that stuff doesn't mean nothing. What matters in my life is what I pass into my kids. It's what I pass into my grandkids. And I got to give them wisdom from the Word of God to pass on, not worldly accolades. That means nothing. So just get this. Now when you stop, you get silent, that's when the demons show up. What's your workaholic, Charlie? I'm bad. One of the reasons I had a stroke was because of this problem that I got. It's me. I own it. It's on me. I'm taking a class. One of the things I'm a workaholic on, I love to learn. I would have never thought that a first grade flunky would love to learn. But man, I love to learn. So I saw this class over at RCC on change. And I said, anything that deals with change, I'm on it. Kelly, I'm not talking about the other classmates, not about me. This class teaches you that we have this wheel of health. I think it's 9 points. You go through all 9 points. And what I like about it is, I go to this class, and everything's real confidential, so I'm talking about me. and I'm being interviewed by people like are 25 years old, which is hilarious. I love it. And I'm sitting down, and I love being with this class. We're going through our Wheel of Health, and they're saying, Charles, as you look at the Wheel of Health, what area of your life do you need to work on the most? And I said, oh, this is no brainer. This is easy. Need to learn how to take a day off. Oh, rest. Yeah, that's right. Don't have rest. Well, I confess it. I haven't taken a day off in over 40 years. I won't take days off. There's too much to do. When the class was for a 25-year-old child off, just give me the questions. We're on life coaching. She says, the point is, I want you to think. And I love to think, at least I want to do. And I said, well, why? Why? And I was like, why don't I do that? Well, my mom was a hard worker. I can't blame my mom. She'd come in from work and she would say, Charles, got this done? Yeah. Got this done? Got it all done, Mom. Go outside, pick up rocks. Oh, go pick up rocks. So we had the tennis house in the neighborhood. Right nowhere. And I thought, if I wasn't being productive, if I wasn't working, I wasn't somebody. And laziness is in the devil. If you're lazy, you're trouble. You can't be lazy. I carried that into my life. Do you know who opened the blinds? My son Josh. My son Josh saw the flow of his dad's life. Josh got away from his dad for a few years. Josh came in the office a few weeks ago and said, Dad, do you know the rest? Do you know how important it is? And I thought, who do you think you are? I didn't say that. I thought, who do you think you are? Not look at that way. So yeah, I love this. It's okay. As he walked away, God said, no, you don't. And that girl interviewed me. Said, how high is this on your level to rest? And when do you think you'll do it? And I said, if I don't do this within 5 years, I'll be dead. She said, dead? I said, I know that's strong. But I'm 58. I'm really short. You're just 25 years. I got to change now. I'm telling you, I had that baggage in my life in the way I was, but I can't blame my mom. I'm an adult. But on a people day, I got baggage in life. You got to face it. You never grow beyond the stars. Point 3, 11 o'clock. It's okay. I've learned how to relax. Point 3 is to worship the tree. Now, once again, David was buried. Solomon was too busy. Then he had a son named Absalom. David did. But he was bruised. What's his pain? Amnon, the half-brother of Absalom, but both are sons of David. Just hear me out. Amnon raped his sister, and David did nothing about it for 2 years. What's that for 2 years? So do you know what he did for 2 years, Absalom? He brooded. Some people, when they get hurt in life, they're strong side and tight, and all they do is they sit back. steam on it. You know, when you're ready that way, you won't know their feelings, you don't know their heart, but you know their man. You go to them and you say, what's wrong with you? That's it. And you know, yes, there is. What's wrong with you? Nothing. And they said it brewed. Of the three, that's the worst. And you know why? Because according to Proverbs, runaway emotions, and that's an emotion, affects and destroys every organ in your body. You sit there and you breathe and you pout. You think about hate. You think about revenge. Yeah. Look at this verse. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26 and 27. I got to close. It's different, Charles. Okay, well. Be angry. That's good. You be angry. Yeah. Let me take a personal moment. That's a sneeze. Hey, my word of God, that's a sneeze. There you go. Stop. I tell you what, God. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down. Do not give who? An opportunity. The word devil is diablos. It's the Greek word diablos. Diablos means slander. When you get mad at somebody, the strong, silent type, they're mad at someone, they'll sit there, they'll brood about it. Do you know what they do? It grows into hate, and you start tearing that person down. And see, here's the Bible says go to them and face it and resolve it. But a slanderer, a person that's rude, they will do this. Let's say I'm mad at Wayne May. You did something that hurt me. Maybe you didn't shake my hand. It could be anything. But I'm mad at you. Here's what this person does. I'll instead of going with Wayne, I'll say, you know what? Hey, you know what? Those churches sits on the front like a hypocrite. You know what? He's fake. You know what? He's a joke. You know what? He doesn't love God. I love God. He's a jerk. And you go around to everyone in the community and you talk about that person. You're diablos. You slander. But you never go to Wayne and make it right. And you know why? Because you're a coward. You're a coward. You sit and brood until everybody's been a coward. And guess what? At judgment, God says, Charles, you know the way you judged Wayne May? That's how I'm going to judge you. So run that mouth. Look spiritual. Run that mouth. God says, that is exactly the way I'll judge you. Amen. So you'll sit there and you'll brood, you'll sulk, and you got poison. Do not give the devil a what? Opportunity. That word opportunity means that you cannot be demon possessed, but he can sit at a word means beachhead in your life and ruin you ragged. And then you came to church on Sunday morning. I love you, Jesus. Has this sermon made sense today? To two people. Well, I got a whole new thing, but I got to finish up. How do I get free? There's a lot of things. I really got a lot of things. I need to stop. Let's all stand.